Hello, 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 and welcome back to Talking to Tequila with Chloe. That's me, Chloe. Now, if you are watching on video, you may be looking at this absolutely gorgeous exposed wood. Let's call it oak to be fancy. Behind me, you might go, where is this woman? What's going on? My whole reality is being questioned. And just relax, stop. I will explain to you what's going on. For the first time ever, I am recording in Annapolis because I worked Tuesday. Wait, no, hold on. I worked Monday and Wednesday, which means Tuesday I'm off. So I decided to record up here because Lord knows I drop my episodes Wednesday. So that's why you see this absolutely beautiful wood behind me, because I am in a garage apartment and that's how they designed this place. And it's really quite gorgeous, to be honest with you. It's kind of inspiring me to how I want to do my own house. And my boyfriend has also seen videos of like how this place looks because he hasn't come up to visit me yet because I've just been going down to Pittsburgh or up to Pittsburgh. But regardless, we love this place. And fun fact, it is regardless. I said irregardless for a long time. My sister let me know that that is not accurate. If I ever do slip up and say irregardless, it is just only because I've been saying it for like my whole life until this year. But just so you know, it is regardless, not irregardless. Secondly, you may notice I'm in my pajamas. Face done, face makeup full, hair done, but I'm in my pajamas. Why? You might go, well, that's kind of weird. Like, she didn't even want to dress up. I am dressed up. This is a pajama party themed episode. Like, we're just in my bed, like literally girl talking today. And that's why I have my pajamas on. It's all part of the creative process. I'm an extremely creative person, if you don't know. Now, what do we have going on this week? Luna's teeth got pulled. I need to update you all on that. She got her teeth cleaned. That's my dog, Luna. I put hair extensions in, not right now, but I did earlier this week and I want to talk about it. Dream guest rotation, tequila time. What's popping off in the pop culture world? Consumerism. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. I'm not going to lecture you. We're just going to talk. Summer house recap, and of course, ça va. Chic c'est la vie. Ça va. So let's get right into it because we do have a very busy week and it is already 1:25 p.m. And I want to try to maybe go to Potomac or maybe go to the mall in Annapolis or something. Like, I just need to get out because the last time I had a day off, I didn't leave the house until 5 p.m. because I was feeling like, let me just be real with you guys. I was feeling like so down this like whole months. And like last time that I was off, I didn't leave the house until 5 p.m. and I made myself get up and get out of the house. But then I ended up feeling even worse about myself because I was like, you dumb piece of, like, you didn't even leave the house till 5 p.m. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Watch the darkness? What are you going to do at 5 p.m.? Go look at headlights? So I was promised myself the next time you're off, you're getting your ass out of the house when it's daylight, bitch. And so I really want to leave the house by 3 p.m. Now, I did have big plans to go to Potomac. I think those plans are canceled for one of two reasons. I wanted to go to Potomac because of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I kind of romanticized it and was like, I'm going to go drive around this Potomac town and like immerse myself in this Bravo world. And like, and maybe I'll see a housewife and all this stuff. And then I realized, what if I get out there and it's literally just a neighborhood and then I'm driving around in my Kia Sorento like a fucking freak, like literally just like what? On the lookout for a housewife? I romanticized it more like I'll have lunch at a cafe and sit outside and I'll write in a notebook and think about my dreams. And maybe I will do that when it's a little bit sunnier out and it's spring out. But I had this sneaking suspicion I would get all the way out there, which I'm sure, I actually think it's like almost 45 minutes away, if not an hour. I'm going to get all the way out there, drive around this neighborhood, and then literally feel like such a loser and be like, what are you doing? So when I do go out to Potomac, I think I'm going to make more of a day of it. Like go out at like 9 a.m., beat the traffic, and I will go to a little cafe or something, but it needs to be sunny out and it needs to be nice out. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to feel like a freak. And if there are any recommendations on like Potomac, is there a city center? Is there a little town? Is there a restaurant? Like let me know, because I feel like I just need to have more of a plan to do that. So maybe I'll go to the Annapolis Mall. M- I I don't know where the Annapolis like school is or something, or like isn't there like a something like out here that is Annapolis, like it's a school or something. I think that is another place I could visit. All of that I will do. I'm just like kind of bad at like committing to things, because I always go basically in my mind. What happens is I say, I need to have the perfect day. I need to have the perfect day. So what's the perfect day? Is it going to the Annapolis school? Is it going to Potomac? Is it going to the mall and just feeling like a normal girl and trying stuff on? What is it? And I get so caught up that I'm going to pick the wrong thing to do for my perfect day that I do nothing. So I will decide what I'm going to do later on. It may just be go to the mall because I can really manage that, but I'm only going to try stuff on. I'm not going to buy stuff. And like, will that depress me? I don't know. I'm going to get off of this topic, but just Lord knows if you're a person that gets paralyzed in decision making, hi, I'm guilty. Lock me up. Me too. But at the end of the day, we're gorgeous. That's all that matters. Okay. Okay. So my dog Lunita La Bonita needed to get her teeth cleaned. She needed to get her teeth cleaned for over a year now. But the thing is she has a lot of different like kid liver issues, gallbladder issues. We got to watch her blood work. You know, we got to watch how we put her under anesthesia. And last year, when she needed to get her teeth cleaned, she ruptured and tore her ACL and meniscus. So I'm like, I'm not putting my La Bonita under anesthesia twice in 1 year. Like, I'm just not doing it. And the meniscus and ACL need addressed immediately. She couldn't even walk, for Christ's sakes. And the teeth can wait. So she had her yearly exam this year. The vet's like, girl, clock in. Like, her teeth are whack. And I'm like, okay, I know. Okay. So I booked the appointment right then, because I need to book it right then or it's not going to get done. Okay. So I'm like, let me make this appointment. Her breath, I'm not going to lie to you, smelled like literal ass. And that's not surprising, because my dog's favorite pastime is to eat all my other dogs' asses, which is really disgusting. But Luna's one of our dogs that we don't even let her kiss us or lick us at all, because she nonstop is an ass eater. So I'm like, let me get her teeth cleaned, because she also gets jealous when my other dogs like lick us and kiss us, because she tries to lick us and we're like, stiff arm her. So I'm like, let me get her teeth cleaned, and I'm going to let her lick my whole face after that. Oh my God. If your vet recommends that your dog get their teeth cleaned professionally under anesthesia to really clean the hell out of their mouth, I would say go ahead and do it, because my dog's mouth has never looked better. I would literally eat cereal out of her mouth at this point. That's how good her mouth looks. Her gums are pink and sparkling in a beautiful way. Her teeth, whiter than mine. By the way, I'm going to be trying to get my teeth whitened here shortly. I might do the Crest white strips. I was trying to get like stuff from TikTok shop, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I don't know if that's like kind of loco, kind of dangerous. I'm really not sure, but I might do Crest white strips. But one thing about me, my teeth aren't yellow, but they're not sparkly white. And now I have to kind of like, my dog said, hold my beer. Like, my teeth are white. And I'm sitting here like with my off-white teeth, kind of like embarrassed. So I'm like, let me get on Luna's game. Let me get on her level. They did pull a few teeth, maybe 5 or 6. I'm not really sure. The vet was naming the teeth to me as if I'm a mouth expert, which is fine. I just let her name them to me. She's like, I pulled this, I pulled the molars, I pulled this. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to count. I'm like, okay, what? I'm like, all right, that's like 6. Okay. I'm like, oh, okay. So I think she pulled like 5 or 6 teeth. My dog's mouth is fucking sparkling. And it actually lifted my entire week up. Like, to be honest, it lifted my entire week up. And then while I'm on this high, while I'm on this roller coaster of a high of my dog's teeth, these $15 TikTok hair extensions come in the mail that I ordered. Now, I do believe they were $35 or something when I got them, and then they were on sale for $15. Now, let me be transparent. I did not pay for them. I requested for a free sample, and they approved it, which was stunning. So I'm like, what are these extensions going to look like? And I've never had extensions in my life, right? And I can't even really call them extensions. It's like a halo, like hair, like one piece, like with a string that you put in your hair. And I'm like, well, let me just fuck around with it and find out. You guys, I put these like halo extensions in my hair. Okay. First of all, I don't even think I can wear them in real life. If I wear them in real life, I may become an actual real life mean girl. I understand now, like, if you have long, beautiful, luscious hair that's shiny and curly and vivacious and voluminous, I understand why every day you must probably fight the urge to actually like trip people down the street. Like, there is something about really long, sexy, beautiful hair that makes you go like this, like, excuse me, pop star walking through. Excuse me, celebrity walking through. Excuse me, do you see my hair? Do you see your hair? Yeah, night and day, honey. Like, I understand, like, I feel like if you're a little bit mean to me now and you have long hair, I'm not going to take it personal because I just understand that might come with the territory of having long hair. I put this hair in my hair. I felt like Miss America. I was swinging my hair around. Literally, it felt so good, to be honest with you. And I don't know if it's just because I haven't had long hair in like over 10 years. Like I really have not had long hair that was like healthy in such a long time, that because I was blonde for almost 10 years. So even when my hair was a little bit longer, it was like a hey girl longer. Not like a hey girl. Like a hey, like a hey girl longer, like a horse hair longer, like crunchy longer, like hay that a horse eats longer. But now I dye my hair dark and it's so soft and I can run my fingers through it and I put in this halo fake hair. All of a sudden, I mean, I felt like $1 million, Danny. Okay? So I'm not going to wear that all the time because that is like quite hard maintenance. First of all, I had it in my hair for 5 minutes and my neck was hot, very hot. So I don't really know how you have long hair out and about during the summer seasons. I'm probably going to start to do some research. I don't know if most girls with long hair live in Vancouver. I don't know if they live in Europe, but they may. I don't think they live down in Florida. I'm going to have to take a poll. I don't think anyone with long hair lives down by the equator. Okay? Not that Florida's in the equator, but you know what I'm saying. I'm saying several different places at once. But what I will tell you is, if you ever see me post a video, like I'm getting ready for a date night, or I'm getting ready for this and I'm getting ready for that, and I have long hair in, just know that I may be acting a little wild and a little reckless that night because it turns me into a different person. Now, why did I need these two things? I think we can all admit last week wasn't my best work, okay? I was feeling pretty down. I was feeling pretty sad. And I had just decided this week that I will no longer be sad about stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm either going to be happy and joyous of my own personal life, right? Like hang out with my girlfriends, chit chat with my friends on the phone, go do all this stuff, go out to eat fabulous food, get my dog's teeth cleaned. So I will either be happy or I will be mean and mad about things. I won't be sad because I don't think sad's going to save us, right? And I also just realized because I'm like, oh, I'm really sad about how people are being treated. Right. Okay. A lot of the people that are being treated badly, I mean, sadness is not going to help them. And they're the ones who can be sad, right? They're the ones who are experiencing this really massive influx of anxiety. I mean, I have anxiety. I'm not going to take that away, but they're the ones that are really having their worlds rocked. So I'm going to let them be sad. And for me, I'm going to be angry and I'm going to be an advocate. So that's what I decided this week. So I'm going to be happy about things going on in my life, or I'm going to be like boots on the ground. I don't see Bernie Sanders sad. I see him rev the hell up. And while we're on the topic of Bernie Sanders, I find it really particularly disturbing that on TikTok, I looked at his page and he only has 3 million followers. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of revolution is happening. But what I do know is people need to click on his follow button and give him some goddamn respect. Do you understand what I'm saying? 3 million followers. And it's an embarrassment. He spent his entire life literally trying to do better by the American people for us to give him 3 million followers on TikTok. I understand that it's just a follow. I understand that it doesn't really do anything. But can we not put some respect on his name? For God's sakes. Now, that's my weekly wrap up. Like, I'm in Annapolis right now. I'm here for 4 days. Like, the sun is shining. I got this wood behind me. It's making me feel nature. Like, my sister always wants me to go hiking. Hello? Do you see where I'm at? Do you see the background of my podcast? Am I not in the woods? I consider this a hike right now. I'm being extremely mobile. I'm moving around. My blood is, my pulse is going, right? If I had a heart rate monitor on right now, my pulse would be at least 110 beats per minute. I've got wood behind me. Would you not call this a hike? Would you not call me out exercising? Of course, that's what I thought. Now that we got through the hair extensions, Luna's teeth, my hiking trip this week, and Annapolis, someone asked me a really good question this week that I really had to think about, because when they asked me, I was stumped, because they asked me what my dream guest rotation would be on this show. And not that this show will ever be an interview style show, because let's be real, I want to be the star. You know, I'm not too proud to say my ambitions are to be the one being interviewed. No, I don't want to interview you. My goal isn't to be a host. My goal is to be the host's goal, right? Like, they have their list of people. We're walking the red carpet and they go, "Oh, Chloe's here. Kick this other person out. We gotta talk to Chloe." But that's not to say I wouldn't have people on the show to have conversations with, right? It's more of a conversational point. Almost think like Tiger Belly, okay? The only problem is a lot of my old dream guests are no longer my dream guests, because something in my brain has shifted about who I used to really look up to. So a lot of the people that I would have gagged and died to have on my show, it's just not the case anymore. So I was really thinking, like, who would I like to have on my show? And by show, I mean podcast, Talking to Tequila with Chloe. That's me. And I think I have a pretty good list of 4 people right now, and I will continue to add to this list. That doesn't mean, now, please be very clear. When I say dream guests, there are guests that I would love to have on the show and enjoy to have on the show and like be geeked out to have on the show. But this list is going to be reserved for elite level, top notch, grade A. Like, I would be gagged if I had them on my show. That's who I'm talking about right now. Okay. First and foremost, I would like to have Stanley Tucci on my show. He is maybe my number one. There's something about Stanley Tucci that I find so enduring and so calming and so warm and so fuzzy and so charming that I would really love to have a conversation with him. He also seems very relatable and very down to earth. Okay? Very, very much like an average man. And he also loves food. And from the looks of it, so do I. Okay. Nextly, I would like to have Bill Burr on my show. Now, the reason I would like to have Bill Burr on my show is because outside the fact that he is the voice of the people, and outside the fact that I really love that he says whatever the hell is on his mind, and besides the fact that I find him to probably be a good sparring partner, I would love to stand 10 toes down with Bill Burr, because I know his game. Okay. I know that he's like a little bit of kind of like, he kind of tries to like puff up his chest a little bit, but I find him to be incredibly funny and kind of like a little bit of a challenge. And I think a lot of times that people interview him, they almost become intimidated by him. But honey, you haven't met charming yet. I will charm the absolute hair back on his head. Do you understand what I'm saying? If Bill Burr tried to go 10 toes down with me and puff out his chest a little bit, I'd be like, honey, I'm emotionally unavailable 34-year-old daughter of a addict. Not my dad. I love my dad. I love you, Dad. My mom is crazy. You cannot scare me. You cannot scare me. Do you know once my mom called and left me a voicemail just reminding me I'm going to hell? I'm sorry, that was too much. I'm not a trauma dumper. I'm just mentioning it. Like what I'm trying to say is Bill Burr wouldn't scare me. He would try to puff out his chest a little bit to me. What he doesn't know is I think he's the Robin Hood of comedy. I think he is the man. I think he's one of these only people that's not alpha brained out, literally just trying to suck Joe Rogan's. Okay. He's out here speaking the truth. And so he would kind of try to spar with me a little bit. And I would be like, honey, stop. You're home now. We're one and the same. What you think generally is what I think. And if you want to try to be a little cute and a little testy, you're going to quickly realize I can be just as testy back, but also I'm going to charm the hair back on your head. And I'm going to let you know that you're in a safe place. And what we can do is talk about your emotions. And then I'll break down his walls and we'll talk about his childhood. Okay. So Bill Burr, watch out because I'm coming for you. Nextly, Keke Palmer. Do I need to say anything about that? Keke Palmer is the woman of our generation. Okay. She is the moment. She's what I like to call a comedic genius. And she's also quick-witted and charming. Now, the thing about Keke Palmer is she's such a fun, good time girl. And she's always saying these one-liners. But what I would want to do is I would want to get to know Keke Palmer more than anyone else has. I would want to speak to Keke Palmer personally. And be like, girl, I know you're funny, but let's get real. Okay? Let's get real. I want to know what your favorite movie is. I want to know what you do at night. I want to know what app you open. Do you read books? What kind? Oh. I want to know who your top 10 celebrity dinner table would be. You know, I play that game in my mind a lot. Like, if you would be able to have dinner with 5 celebrities, who would it be? And I go through it. And the fun thing about that is the rotation changes often. So you kind of check in with yourself and see who you're feeling at that moment. And it's also a fun brain exercise because you wouldn't just pick your top 5 favorite celebrities. What you would do is you would have to pick celebrities and also anticipate how they would mesh together. So it's not just about what you would want. You would need to invite I used to think you would need to know if I invite this person, they're a little shy and they're a little quiet and they're a little reserved. I know that they're friends with that person. So I would need to invite that other person so that that person felt warm and welcomed and joined in on the conversation. You would also have to be very smart. So Nicolas Cage is my favorite actor of all time. He is the most underappreciated actor of our time. And so you would think, Nicolas Cage would be part of my celebrity meal table. No, he wouldn't. I will never meet Nicolas Cage. I hold Nicolas Cage in a very high regard. Okay? I would never want to meet him and have potentially anything negative put into my mind about that. What if I meet him and he goes like this? Okay, hi. Everything would be ruined for me, right? So I don't want to meet him. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to chance it. Because that's how much I enjoy him in his movies. Have you ever seen The Vampire's Kiss? Do me a favor. If you think what I said is inaccurate, if you think Nicolas Cage isn't the best actor of our time, if you think Nicolas Cage is a one-trick pony, if you think Nicolas Cage's his entire career is wrapped up in Ghost Rider, it's a damn lie. And do me a favor right now and watch 3 movies that I recommend to you about Nicolas Cage, and then come back to my doorstep and tell me he isn't the best actor. 1, Vampire's Kiss. 2, Face Off. 3, The Family Man. Watch those 3 movies, then speak back to me about Nicolas Cage. I don't want to hear any Nicolas Cage slander. And I don't need to hear about his private and personal life. I go out of my way to never dip into that because I don't care. Well, okay, it's not that I don't care. It's like I enjoy him as an actor. I don't need to know about his personal life. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in his film. Unless, of course, he were to come out as like a Me Too person. Obviously, I would care then, but I don't think that's been the case. Okay. I could be wrong. God forbid. Please, if you come to my doorstep, please do it gently. I mean, I haven't seen his name splash in the headlines and that. I don't think I'm wrong. Okay. Nextly, outside of Keke Palmer, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are enigmas wrapped in a riddle covered in cash. Okay? Those 2 girls blew our minds, were the epitome of pop culture sensationalism, and were what we would all consider our second sisters. Well, like, I have 2 sisters, Kai and Catherine, right? But, like, second sisters, like, because there are 2 sisters, so, like, 2 more sisters in addition to any sisters you have. And then they just went away. And I'm so curious. They went away, right? Because they're not into this, like, pop culture celebrity life anymore. But they have been famous since they were like, what, 4 or 5? I cannot tell if they're normal, if they are out of touch with reality, if they have, you know, a grip on social issues, what their passions are. Do they donate to charities? Like, I don't know anything about them. I would love to have them on a podcast and just see what they're about. We know nothing about them. We know that they have the Row, their clothing company. But like, you know, what do they think about the war in Ukraine? You know, what's their number one, give back that they like to do? Like, for example, me, if I became rich and famous, I already know like things I would spend my money on in terms of like giving back. Like, I wouldn't just give to charities because I find like I don't like know much about that world. Like, I would give $100 million to the Lupus Foundation because they are working on lupus and my best friend has lupus. So that I would give a lot of money to so they could figure that out. Okay. Outside of that though, like what I would like to spend my money on is I would like to go to like average restaurants and like pay all the bills for people because average restaurants have average people. Average people are struggling, right? So I would go give everyone's meal is free. Oh, you were going to spend and treat yourself to a $40, $60 dinner tonight? Like, it's on me tonight, honey. Okay? I would go to Mexico and give every single kid, like, everyone would get a backpack filled with school supplies. And the backpacks would be fucking sick. They would be backpacks like Moana backpacks. Like cartoons. I don't know, like, what kids watch. Moana, like the car with the red car. That cartoon, like they would be jam-packed with school supplies and sweets, candy. Okay. I would also like give money like at my hospital. Okay. All the lunch ladies are like a little bit older. They're like fucking 70, okay, or 60. I'm sorry. Why are we having 70-year-olds have to work right now? You get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. If anyone ever delivers my DoorDash and they're looking like 60, 70, 80, 90, $1 million, retire. Okay, go retire. Okay. Once in college, I was like volunteering at a homeless shelter and I was asking them what they needed. Oh, well, they all said new tents and new sleeping bags. I couldn't afford that. I could only afford socks. So I got them socks and stuff like that. Okay. All you guys, first of all, do you just want me to rent you an apartment for a little bit? We could do that. Or I could get you your new tents and sleeping bags like you want. You let me know. Okay. I would go to rehabs. Oh, you need your first month's paid of a halfway house? Your whole rehab's getting paid at the halfway house. So you can get to the halfway house for your first month or whatever. And maybe 2 months. Okay. Like things like that is what I would spend my money on. I don't know what Mary Kate and Ashley spend their money on. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it needs to be like this monumentally large thing, but I know that they're people. I know that they're human beings. I know that they have hearts. So I'm sure that they do give their money to stuff. I just would I would be curious, like, what's that thing about you that itches your brain that you feel impassioned about? You know, I wouldn't even want to talk about growing up famous. I don't really care. I care about other stuff now. Like, who are you, girl? Let me know. Right? Okay. And then lastly, I feel medium about this. I don't know exactly how I feel about it because I would be a little scared to have him on. And that's 50 Cent. Now, you might go, oh, you're scared because he got shot 9 times, now he walks with a limp. No, I don't care about that. I'm not scared to have him on because of his history. I'm scared to have him on because 50 Cent is the new day age bone collector. He will read you to filth. He will mop the floor with you. He is what I like to call a crusader of truth and a crusader of bullshit. And, you know, he has gained an online reputation of really just like, if you're a bad person, like letting the world know about it in the most crazy way possible. And I would like to speak to him about that. Like, I kind of love that he's like this justice warrior. And, you know, he also raised me. I mean, literally, I'm sorry, if you're a millennial girl, like, go shopping. It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. I think that's 50 Cent. Okay. Like, we just know him well. And I would love to just speak to him like, hey, do you by any chance know that you literally put happiness into the youth of America? Like, your songs like kind of slap so fucking hard. Like, I would love to speak with him about that. And then I would love to speak with him like I would like to ask him like, hey, I have a question. So like, you and me right now, we have a good rapport. Okay, like we texted, like let's say we texted about this podcast, you coming on. Okay, we kind of had a nice banter. Let's say I pissed you off one day. Let's say I put a clip of our podcast up and you didn't like how your hair looked, right? Like, would you drag me? Would you put me on blast on the internet? Would you make fun of me? Would you make mean memes about me? Or do you particularly only drag people that you find out are evil? Like, I just kind of want to know, like, where his head is at with that kind of stuff. So I would love to have 50 Cent on. And for right now, those are the people that are my top list. Now, you might go, where's Cillian Murphy? Where's Pedro Pascal? I just need to say this. There are a few people in my mind that are above. They're basically whatever that layer is above Earth when you reach into the stars and you reach into space. That's where a few people are. I'm not going to touch those people. I don't want to speak to Cillian Murphy. I don't want to speak to Pedro Pascal. I don't want to speak to Nicolas Cage. I hold them in the highest regard. I don't need to find out anything about them. Like, they don't like my hair. They think I'm annoying. I say like too much. Cillian Murphy, I mean, my God, have you seen his interviews? I mean, if he thinks you're dumb, like, good luck. In me, I might come off as maybe a ding dong, but I'm not. You guys know I'm deep. I have a lot of things going on in my mind, but Cillian doesn't know me. So, I mean, I might say to him, like, hello immediately. And he's like, oh, this girl with her voice. Good God. And in the whole interview might be shot. And I don't want, if he gives me those dead eyes, and not in a way that he's listening to you intently, but he gives you those dead eyes, like, get me the hell out of here, I wouldn't be able to handle it. So no, he's not on my list. Pedro, to me, you might as well call him Saint Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal, to me, I would consider like a brother. You know, me and my boyfriend, like we kind of are really just really in touch with each other. We know everything about each other in a way that, like, I see these interviews sometimes where, the interviewer's doing a street interview and they're talking to, like a guy, okay? And they're like quizzing the guy on his girlfriend and they're like, what's her favorite movie? What's her favorite food? What's her blah, blah, blah? And the guys don't know anything. Like, does she have any allergies? And they don't know anything. I'm telling you right now, me and my boyfriend are the opposite. My boyfriend knows my favorite food. He knows my favorite movie. He knows my favorite color. He knows my favorite celebrity. We also tell each other our, like, celebrity crush. Like, his celebrity crush is Camilla Bell. You know, the actor from the 2000s. And I said to him, like, because we were like quizzing each other funly, like in a fun way. And I was like, oh, and who's my celebrity crush? And I already knew who he was going to say, and I knew it was going to be wrong. And he's like, Pedro Pascal. I'm like, no, it's not Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal, I would consider a brother. Now, I love him dearly because I can tell Pedro Pascal's a good person. What Pedro Pascal does is he brings his trans sister onto the red carpet, loud and proud. You have a problem with it? Get out of my face. That's what Pedro Pascal does. So to me, I'm like, I already know he thinks Pedro Pascal is my celebrity crush, but it's not, because I hold Pedro Pascal in the regard of almost a family member. I'm not attracted to him at all physically, because to me, I like him because he seems to be a good person. He seems to have his head on screwed straight. He seems to have an affinity for the underdog. He cares about social issues. You know, he's one of the only people posting anything about what's going on in the world right now, because he doesn't care about using his voice for what's right. He cares about using he cares about using his voice for what's right. He doesn't care about whether or not he's not going to get booked for another movie. So I laughed. I'm like, Pedro Pascal. I knew you were going to say that. What I would like to do with Pedro Pascal is sit at a brunch table with a mimosa and kiki. You know, talk shop. Nothing else, nothing more. I'm not interested in Pedro Pascal that way. So anyways, those are the people that I don't even want to speak on and touch. I hold them in too high of a regard. Now, before we get into the topic of consumerism, again, that is not scary. This is not a lecture. It's being real, right? Let's quickly break down Tequila Time. That's our pop culture segment where I just touch on things that are going on in the celebrity world right now. This is going to be a very low lift Tequila Time. Normally, a lot of my episodes are heavy on the Tequila Time. This we're just going to breeze through. Okay. First and foremost, they have announced, speaking of Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us is returning. Hey. Now, here's why I'm excited. I love The Last of Us a lot because one of my favorite TV and movie genres is post-apocalyptic, zombie takeovers. I love war movies, spy movies, vampire movies, werewolves. Okay? I love all of those things. Now, The Last of Us, of course, is like this post-apocalyptic, like mushroom zombie. They're like kind of zombies that are taken over by like figs and plants or something. They have mushrooms growing all over them. It's like Mother Nature fought back. So they're kind of like zombies, but like also moss and stuff is growing on them. I really love this TV show. And of course, Pedro Pascal stars in it. And what I want to let you know is it's coming back April 13th. So book it. Write it down. It's coming back. And that's right by my brother's birthday. Next. Addison Rae was on the cover of Vogue France. There's a few things I want to say about this. First of all, I really like Addison Rae. I don't know why. I just really enjoy her. I like her music. I like what she's doing. But I want to talk about there is something going on with Addison Rae right now that I can't quite put my finger on. Addison Rae was on the cover of Vogue France, being like her kind of like quirky, interesting self. Addison Rae is trying to get into music, which she is doing like quite successfully, by the way. But the thing is she's kind of kooky. Like she's always like out and about in these like little frilly skirts and these like really cut off shirts, and like her hair's kind of like crazy. And a lot of people are like, Addison Rae is like kind of becoming wacky. And I think they're saying it in like a slightly negative way. But I feel like I can see past that. Addison Rae to me is trying to like create an image right now of like this free spirited pop princess. And I just want to say, I really do believe I'm right about this evaluation. Some people are saying like, she's kind of like, I don't want to say like losing it. I think that's a little derogatory, but that's what people are kind of saying. But I don't think that. I think she's truly like very intentionally going on this direction of like this young, crazy, vibrant, free-spirited pop princess. And I like her music, and I'm going to roll with it. A lot of people are also saying that she's kind of vying for the role of Britney Spears in the biopic. Is it biopic or biopic? 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 Biopic sounds like you're saying biopic while you're yawning. So I'm not sure which one it is. I also don't care. Some people are saying she's kind of trying to like emulate Britney in the 2000s, and kind of like cast that idea into booking people's minds for this Britney Spears biopic. I hate that word. So if I ever become rich and famous, don't make a biopic of me, because I have a beef with that word. It's the worst word. And if you want to call it a reenactment movie of my life, that's fine. Don't call it a biopic. Okay? I'm not dealing with this. Whoever wrote the English... Wow. There are so many times. I basically have an enemy once per episode. Like one time my dog Luna was my enemy. Like February 18th was my enemy. English, like I just said that so weird. Like like my mouth was full of marbles. But I have such a beef with the English language. Who made the English language? It's so difficult. It is so difficult to speak the English language if you don't have an English major. Like, I just cannot, truly. I'm getting off of this. I'm getting off the biopics. I'm getting off of it. Addison Rae, I see what you're doing. I feel you, and I think it's genius. Keep going, girl. Okay. Lastly, Jeff Lewis was on his Sirius XM TV show. If you don't know Jeff Lewis, he was on Flipping Out, a Bravo TV show about home remodeling and interior design. It is my favorite TV show of all time. It was slightly controversial because Jeff Lewis could at times be verbally abusive to his staff. However, I do think he's grown from that. And he did, at the end of the day, seem like a good boss and a good guy with maybe just a temper problem. And I used to have a temper problem too, so I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire about that. Okay? That would be the pot calling the kettle black. Now, my temper wasn't like his. His was like, like crazy. But at the end of the day, like, that's my favorite show. And obviously it was a lot of people's favorite show because it was on the damn network. So I'm not going to apologize for that. But, you know, his show ended up getting canceled because of his, like, literal, like, verbal, like, problems of, like, flipping out on his staff. But he's had several shows since then. And to be honest, he is coming back to the Bravo TV network. I think they announced that he signed a deal with them to like bring back a version of his show. He also had a version of his show on, I watched it on Amazon Prime. There was 2 seasons of it, I believe. And it was actually like 2023, 2024. So it's more recent. If you used to like flipping out, just search like Jeff Lewis, like Amazon TV show. It might have been on Tubi. It might have been on Freevee. In fact, I think it was on Freevee, but it was really good. So I would say look it up. But I think he's coming back to Bravo TV. Anyways, I saw him on his Sirius XM radio show. And I only saw a clip of it because I'm not a Sirius XM subscriber for a few reasons. 1, I'm not 75 years old. 2, I'm not rich. 3, Sirius XM fired my favorite podcaster, Taylor Strecker, from Taste of Taylor, one of the best podcasts of all time, which is available 5 days a week. Do you know how many people offer 5-day-a-week podcasts of actual good content? Next to none. So they fired Taylor Strecker years ago. They ended up doing her a favor because my, has she soared since then? But I refuse to ever subscribe to them because of that reason. Irregardless, Jeff Lewis has a show on Sirius XM, and he was talking about this thing called ChumpCon that I never heard of a day in my life, and how Mercedes from Shaws of Sunset was no longer invited to ChumpCon. So I'm like, what's ChumpCon? Apparently, ChumpCon is Jeff Lewis calls his listeners chumps. Like that's their nickname. And so, for example, okay, wait, hold on. I was getting like ahead of myself. So ChumpCon is where you can, I guess, go for the weekend in Vegas. It's April 11th to the 13th this year. And it's like BravoCon, but for like Jeff Lewis listeners, where he has like a cast of his crew from the Sirius show and like just his zeitgeist of world. It's like meet and greets. It's, different events. It's like the BravoCon of the Jeff Lewis world. And by the way, if I ever have that, I'm going to call it Slay Nation. Or if I ever have a like carnival cruise, you know how they have like cruises with celebrities or whatever, and like they call it something and you can like spend the weekend with your person? Mine will be Slay Nation. Okay. Unless it's like in 10 years from now, because that's how long it takes me to make it. And then like there's some other really cool phrase that we come up with. Like, can I tell you something? Or something like that. Okay. Okay. Oh, also real quick, I would never make a tequila because I really don't like the cultural appropriation of annoying white people making tequilas and like literally not putting any respect on Mexico's name. So I will never actually make a tequila. But I did have this funny idea that if I did make a tequila, it would just be called Talking To. And then someone would be like, hey, can you give me the Talking To tequila? Like, do you see that play on words? Like, hey, can you give me the Talking To tequila? Can you grab me the Talking To tequila? I wish I could make a tequila, but I can't. I will never. It's out of principle. I will never. Out of principle. Okay? Because I'm not Kendall Jenner and I'm not George Clooney. That was me rolling my eyes. So anyways, so Jeff Lewis apparently had Mercedes invited. And apparently she was being very high maintenance, saying that $10,000 for a weekend was not enough. This is all allegedly, in my opinion, according to what Jeff Lewis said. It is what I've deduced from what Jeff Lewis said, but he said it in a clip on his show. You can watch it. Okay. That like Mercedes was being quite high maintenance, like complaining about the security, complaining that it was only 10 grand, complaining that she has to do more work for less money and she doesn't have to do this much work at BravoCon. Well, honey, it's like 15 people at ChumpCon. Like you might have to like go to more meet and greets or whatever. Like it's a smaller thing. And also Jeff is having like 15 people there. BravoCon has like 10,000 people there. Like, of course, there's so many more celebrities at BravoCon, so people have to do less meet and greets, obviously. Like, even I know that. So Jeff Lewis, in his Jeff Lewis fashion, where he's like so true to how he's feeling in that moment, was like, okay, fine. Then don't go. You're uninvited. If it's a heavy lift, relieve yourself of that. And I kind of like love that. Like, I mean, I like Mercedes, so I'm not going to shit on her right now. But like, that's why I like Jeff. Like, do you know how rare it is for people to exist in this world where they just like call it like they see it? Like, okay, it's a heavy lift. Then don't go. Relieve yourself. You're no longer invited. Like, I like that. So, Jeff Lewis, like, do you, boo? Like, I thought that was amazing. Now, shoot, it's already 50 minutes. I still have a Summer House recap, and I still have a consumerism topic. You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision. We had a lot to talk about this week, and I might bump consumerism. Should I? Let me get through the Summer House recap, and then we'll see if we have time for consumerism. I might have to bump it to next week. Okay. Now, the Summer House recap is from last week's episode. Of course, there's a new episode dropping tonight, but we are always 1 week behind, which gives you plenty of time to watch that show. So we are recapping Summer House episode 2. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire episode because I don't think it's necessary for recaps to like go through the entire episode, because it's like we all watched the episode. Why do I have to like tell you what was on the episode? But you know what I mean. This is still weekend 1 of Summer House. Actually, can I quench my thirst real quick? It's my white Yeti I'm drinking out of. I chose the white Yeti because it kind of goes with my background. That's why I chose it. So it's still the first weekend of Summer House. And basically nothing has happened yet. We're still just kind of like getting the vibe of everyone, like kind of just like feeling out the crew. But this episode is heavily based on Jesse and Lexi. I think her name's Lexi. I believe it is. Getting to know each other still. And, you know, the Carl and Lindsay kind of run-in and the Sierra and West run-in. Now, here are my thoughts straight off the bat. There is something about the new girl, Lexi. I believe that's her name. God, please let that be her name. I should have looked it up before this TV show. Or, oh my God, TV show? Podcast episode. Was that me manifesting? Hold on, let me manifest that. Even though I don't know if I would want a TV show. I'm really not sure. Okay. Jesse and Lexi are very cute. I've seen Jesse out and about in real life right now doing interviews, and I'm not going to lie, he is giving me a slight ick. Like, he's very, like, kind of, you can tell, thinking he's the shit right now, which, you know what, maybe if I was on a TV show and people were really liking me, maybe I would be kind of talking, like, hyperinflated too. I don't know. So I'm not going to judge him too bad on that right now, but in the TV show, I'm enjoying him. I'm enjoying Lexi. There's something about her I find quite endearing. There's something about her I find quite welcoming and warm. I find her to be very charming and sincere. People are saying that she's giving Sheena vibes. I really disagree. I think it's offensive that when a girl is being just cute and flirty and charming, it automatically means like you're like shallow or something. I don't find her to be that way so far. I find her to be quite enjoyable to watch. There is a scene with Lex. God, I really hope her name is Lexi. Please, God, let it be Lexi, the new girl. God. Okay. We're just going to call her that for now. There is a scene with her and Jesse on the bed, and she's talking about her best friend that passed away. And I would like to point out that this is exactly what Jesse said when he learned that. And I thought it was an important moment in the TV show, and it showed a little bit more of who Jesse Silliman is. By the way, I keep looking at myself in the camera, and like I kind of have this like cut going on in my jaw. Like, excuse me, okay, skinny. Like, okay, skinny. Okay, girl. And I can say that because I'm actually not skinny. So don't be like, oh, you're like skinny promoting. Like, you guys, come, be real. Like, I'm not. Okay. She was divulging that her best friend died. And you know what the first thing he said was? He said, "Are you doing okay?" I thought that that was so pivotal and important to understand who Jesse Solomon is as a person. A lot of times people divulge extremely traumatic information and they don't know what to say, or you can tell maybe they're low-key narcissistic and they immediately go like, oh, well, my dad died or my died, like mama. Okay. The first thing he said was, are you doing okay? That means that there is some layer of emotional intelligence in him where he knew immediately, I need to check in on her. And I thought that that was lovely. Second, there is a part where Kyle takes a photo of all the boys cheersing when they go out to like a bro lunch date. I want to highlight that moment because it was so chuggy in a good way. Like, Kyle really is just like a 40-year-old man-child. Now, I don't know if that's actually good or not. Okay, can I be real? I'm going to start slouching for a second. I've sat up really well for the last, like, this whole podcast, and my back is starting to hurt, and I'm not going to clip any summer house, like, images or videos just because I don't care enough. So, like, oh my God, that slouch feels really good. Honey. Oh my God. Is this what it's like podcasting on a bed? I just laid down for a second to catch my breath. Okay. So, Kyle taking a video of the boys cheersing just really lets me know like who he is. I find that people who take and capture moments like that to be like, I think it's cute. Like, I think it's like he just wanted to like have a picture of like him and his boys like having cocktails. Sue me. I think that that's cute. I understand that he's a man-child. I understand that he cheated on Amanda. I will always be team Amanda. If Amanda wanted to leave him tomorrow, I would like support it. But it says something about your soul. Like, I think his soul is harmless. I think he just was raised in a way that like boys are allowed to be fuckers. And like he was a victim of thinking that that was okay. Okay. But in general, I think his soul is fine. Okay. Now, Lindsay and Carl, I actually am enjoying how they're handling each other right now. They were engaged last year. This year, they're not engaged. This year, Lindsay's engaged, or not engaged, pregnant. And although Carl is giving little digs that are like a little immature, in general, how they are treating each other, I think is totally fine. Like, I like how Lindsay's being very direct. Thank you for dinner, Carl. Because I tend to be a little bit emotionally immature. One of my worst characteristics, and I know my boyfriend listens to this podcast, so I think he'll appreciate this. Sometimes when we fight, I just stop talking because I cannot emotionally regulate and I really can't express myself well. And so I just become silent, which is immature, right? I have a hard time expressing myself. I like that Lindsay is like in this situation, which is like kind of treacherous. And she's just like, hey, Carl, thanks for dinner, Carl. Like, I like that she can just like basically separate herself from like maybe her past feelings about Carl and just still be like a normal person. Like, he made dinner, so she thanked him. And I kind of love that. And I don't know how Lindsay's going to deal with having a baby next summer and summer house filming. I don't know if Bravo is giving her her own TV show. I don't know. Let me tell you something. There has never been a group of girls that I've been more interested in seeing what their day-to-day life is than the female cast of Summer House. So I don't know what Bravo needs to do. I don't know who needs to greenlight it. I don't know what social movement needs to happen. I don't know what producer needs to see this. Give the women of Summer House a TV show about their life in the city. I don't know if you need to call it City Girls. I don't know if you need to call it Summer House at Home. I don't know if you need to call it Girls Who Are Cool that you want to watch, but give them a fucking TV show. Okay? These women are moving past the point of being Summer House castmates. I want to see what Lindsay does during the regular year. And I don't know how she's going to film next season of Summer House. She has a child. It's not really plausible for her to film next season of Summer House, but I don't want her off my screen. especially how she's handling Carl this season. I find it to be quite endearing. Endearing is what I meant to say. Like, because Carl's a big wuss. He's like a big weenie. Like, he's not going to be like, hey, Lindsay, can I get you a drink? Like, he's scared of everything. So I like that the interactions between them, like, Lindsay can be the catalyst of like, thank you for dinner, Carl. I love it. Now, I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about this episode where Amanda was very transparent about why they're not having kids right now. Her and Kyle are not having kids because Amanda said, I'm figuring out my medication. I'm figuring out my mental health. I'm figuring out medications that work best for me. And there was a fuzzy in the air. I'm figuring out what medications work best for me and my mental health. And I don't want to find the perfect medication cocktail for me. And now I have to change it because it's not safe to take when pregnant. Like, okay, fucking slay, Amanda. Like, that was so refreshing to see someone on the TV show in like a woman and be like, yeah, hey, I've been married for this many years and I know it might be common to say like, where's your kid? Why aren't you pregnant? But guess what I'm pregnant with? I'm pregnant with my SSRI. I don't know if she's actually on SSRI, but like she's talking about medications for her mental health. She's pregnant with her own self right now and with making sure she's cool. And that's what she said. She said, you know why I'm not pregnant right now? I'm making sure I'm cool right now. And I fucking love that. And I feel like she's not getting shine for that. Like, it's amazing. And then lastly, I want to close out with the Wes and Sierra thing. I'm going to do the one thing that you really shouldn't do. Now, let me preface this by saying, I love Sierra. She's a queen. She's actually one of my role models. She is a nurse. That was even nursing up into the pandemic. And then, I guess, followed her dreams of celebrity. And like, now she's not a nurse anymore. Like, she's living her dreams of being an entertainer. And that is what I would like to do so bad. And so Sierra is one of my like girls that I'm like, love. Like, I find her to be so aspirational. I love everything about her. I like how she's committed to herself and her truth and her principles. I like her clothes. I like her hair. I like everything about her. With all that being said, when Sierra was eating Wes up at dinner, like, she said his hair was ugly. Like, you know, I can't remember exactly what she said, but someone was like, what do you think of Wes's new hair? And she was like, it's fucking trash. I understand that Wes is a weenie. I understand that Wes hurt Sierra's feelings. I understand that Wes is very concerned with like public appearance and public image. I understand that Wes literally seemingly didn't want to be with Sierra because he wanted to like enjoy the full extent of his newfound celebrity. Now, Wes is saying he's not with Sierra because that just wasn't his person. Okay, that could be true. That could be his truth. At the end of the day, it's just like Wes and Sierra broke up. People break up. I understand her feelings are super, super hurt. I understand that she asked Wes 100 times, can I trust you? Is this real? He gave the illusion it was, and she gave her full self to him. And then he broke her heart. At the same time, it is so difficult to watch Sierra tell Wes, like, Sierra is so striking and she is so sharp in her delivery in a good way that watching her, it is like she is punching out of her weight class. She is up here and West is down here. In her, like, coming at him, which she is entitled to do, it is difficult to watch. It's like when a dad like hit, like, you know, like they do like father son like boxing and stuff like that. Like, it's like watching the big strong dad like punch his son square in the face. Like, it's hard to watch because he is just such a little weenie, like puppy dog. Like, he's acting very victim-y, which is annoying. But when she's like, his hair is ugly and stupid, it was like watching a dog with a cast. Like, it's hard to watch. You know, like he just is so weenie. So I don't know how much longer I can endure this. I don't know how much longer I can endure Sierra like just obliterating West. It is hard to watch. So I say it like with the most glove hands possible. I need Sierra to back off West. It's too difficult. Like, it's too difficult. And lastly, I want to say, I understand that at some point in this TV show, Paige will be clocking in, but she hasn't gotten to work yet. I understand that there will become a part in this TV show where like the Craig stuff gets brought up. I see her yelling at Kyle. Like, I think it's her yelling at Kyle, and she will come clocked in. But right now she is just doing that like existing there thing. And I watch the show for certain people. I watch the show for Lindsay. I watch the show for Paige. I watch the show for Kyle. I watch the show for Gabby. I watch the show for Carl. I watch the show for Amanda. There's a lot of screen time being given to these new people. I'm simply not invested in them yet. I'm not invested in Jessie. I'm not invested in West. I'm not invested in Lexi yet, even though I like her. I'm not invested in this Bailey girl, even though I won't see her past episode 3, I think. Like, I don't care about them. I care about my old school people that have been there and Gabby. So, Paige, clock in. I understand that it's already filmed now, and like me saying that means nothing because like they can't, like it's already filmed and edited. But like, I just want to watch the people I want to watch, and Paige isn't giving me anything yet. But I know she will, so I'm going to be patient. Now, this week's Sava goes to, it was an easy one for me this week, and that is my Lunita Babunita. Okay. My Looney, my Looney Toonie, aka Luna, aka my first personal dog that I ever had that I got myself off of a Craigslist ad. I picked her up at a trailer park. They said it was a private drive. It was a private drive to their trailer park, and she had fleas. My Looney Toonie got her teeth cleaned. She did so good. She has her liver and gallbladder issues, and she took that anesthesia like a champ. Her mouth sparkling clean. I let her lick my face multiple times this week. My girl Luna got her teeth cleaned like a motherfucking queen. So the Sava goes to my dog Luna. Like, she is that bitch this week in the truest form, actually, because she is a dog, and she did have my other 2 puppies, Tequila and Summer, before we could get my other dog Coco fixed. When we first got Coco, he accidentally got Luna pregnant, and she only was pregnant with 2 puppies, Summer and Tequila, my other 2 puppies, who are now 8, so they're not puppies anymore, but like, she actually is technically a bitch. Okay. Luna is the Sava of the week. Give Luna snaps. Snap, snap, snap. Luna is a queen. We love Luna. I love her so much. She is everything. Now, I think that this episode was, you know what? I'm going to say it. We pulled off the slumber party. And by the way, I know it's 2:30 now on a Tuesday, even though it's technically Wednesday for you guys. Doesn't matter. It's a pajama party vibe. Now, I would like to say consumerism will be bumped to next week. I'm sorry. And by the way, please don't be scared of that. I'm talking about it in the sense of a blessing in disguise. It is not going to be this like economical lecture, and it's not going to be like we're boycotting Target. Like, it's nothing like that. It's like this full circle thing in my mind that I kind of like it all like rolled together in my head, and I wanted to like tell you guys about it. So consumerism is bumped till next week. I think this week was lovely. Enjoy the nicer weather on the East Coast. It's supposed to be in the high 40s, 50s. Get some sunshine. And of course, like I always say, rate, review, subscribe, share my clips. If you see my clips on any social medias, if you could share them. Clip sharing is like a big way that podcasts is spread. Anything like that. Tell your friends about me. Tell your foes about me. Tell your foes about me. Do me a favor. If you have an enemy that you haven't talked to in 20 years, if you have an enemy from school, why don't you send them a clip of my stuff and be like, hey, we're kind of enemies because you're a stick in the mud and I don't like you and you're rude and you're a brat and you're mean to me. Maybe this podcast will lighten you up a little bit. Like, you could do that. Okay. So I want to sign out for this week. We had a great time. And until next week, bye.